Modern Family is aiming for its 4th title, but can it be outgunned by the final season of 30 Rock? Or could Louis stand up to the competition? You also have The Veep and a bunch of girls trying to shake things up, and then there's also the top-rated comedy on TV. This is Outstanding Comedy Series brought to you by Gold Derby.
In the Emmy race for Outstanding Comedy Series, the big question is, can anything beat Modern Family? Modern Family has won the past 3 years. It's won heaps of supporting acting awards as well. It's loved by the Academy. It's done very well. And if it can win another, if it can win that 4th award, it joins an exclusive Emmy club that includes greats like All in the Family and Cheers. Is there, and I guess the big thing going against it is there Modern Family fatigue? Are voters just sick of giving it to the series again? Now, we've seen perhaps sometimes the Emmys not have as much fatigue as critics. I think by the time Frasier was winning its 5th Emmy, the critics were over it winning. Fans were maybe over it winning again and again and again, but it did win those 5 Emmys. Fatigue had not set in the Academy at that point. And the question is, will it this time? Will fatigue have set in for Modern Family? And we'll have to find out. The big question is, if there is fatigue, if they are looking for something else, what do they go for? That's the biggest question, and it perhaps, since there's a few shows that could perhaps go into that slot, perhaps is all the more reason why Modern Family is in a fairly nice position. But standing in its way are some shows, and let's have a look at them now. And the first one that's probably worth having a look at is Louis. Louis is the cool choice here. It's the critically acclaimed show. It's the buzz. Everyone loves Louis C.K. He's got just shy of 10 individual nominations this year in various categories. So Louis is doing very well. He's very popular. He won Emmys last year. His momentum is up. He's finally cracked in through to the series race. And look, he stands a good chance. Going against Louis is the fact that his show is a bit of an acquired taste. It's not one that appeals to the masses. It's very small, it's very understated, and that could perhaps be inaccessible for some members of the Academy who are looking for a more broad comedy, like a Modern Family. Also in the hunt is 30 Rock, another show that could win its 4th Emmy for Best Comedy Series. It's in its final season, so that means there might be sentiment and nostalgia going 30 Rock's way. We know it's a show they love because it won the Emmy 3 times, it's won lead actor twice before, it's won lead actress before. The big question is, it hasn't really won many Emmys in the past 3 or 4 years. It's really stopped, and it's sometimes hard for a show that's been winning Best Series Emmys to then come back and win again once it's already lost. And the question is, a show that isn't coming back, that aired a while ago, is it in voters' minds? Are they going to tick off the 30 Rock option? We'll have to wait and see. Also contending are some HBO shows, the first of which is Girls, and that show has a lot of buzz, a lot of excitement. Lena Dunham is, in some ways, what Louis C.K. is to 40-year-old men, she is to 20-year-old women. The buzz, it person, the representation of her generation. So she definitely has a niche, she has an appeal. It perhaps goes in the vein of a past winner in this series, Sex and the City. The big problem here is, does this show appeal to the Academy demos? Does a show about 20-something girls living in New York cater to, a largely male academy in Los Angeles? So that's a big question about Girls, whether they'll get it, the people voting in this category. And I guess also the buzz for Girls has died down a little bit since when those episodes were originally airing. A lot more has come through since then. So Girls perhaps not in the strongest position, but in with a shot. Gold Derby got a chance to speak with Lena Dunham about the show. Let's hear what she had to say.
One of the things I find interesting about Season 2 in particular is how the storytelling styles seem to kind of shift, where you would take occasionally an interesting detour from the usual format. For instance, exploring Jess's family in one episode, and Ray and Adam in Staten Island in another episode. Those are sort of like their own short stories. Was it a conscious decision to shake things up that way, or did that just feel like a natural progression for the show?
Well, thank you so much for noticing that, because, I think it was natural, but it was conscious. We didn't want it to stick to the sort of trope of, there's so many wonderful shows that capture 4 friends together in a bar, but we wanted this to be a show that really looked at sort of the ways that people splinter and reform themselves. And also it seemed like to really understand these characters, we had to see them separate from each other and see them sort of committing the behaviors that you'd never commit in front of another person. Or like, the opportunity to see Ray and Adam hopefully gave us some insight into their relationships with Shoshana and Hannah respectively. And so it was a conscious choice to really try to inform our viewers with some kind of backstory and some kind of texture. And it's so fun to do. Like, I would say the most fun exercise in the world is not coming up with all the plot twists and turns, but is actually to really, color in the paint by numbers thing of each of their pasts. So I've loved doing that. And casting people's parents is the most fun thing in the world.
Another HBO comedy in this race is Veep, and that in some ways stands a really good chance. It's funny, it's got Julia Louis-Dreyfus at the center of it, a very respected comedy icon. It's created by an Oscar-nominated screenwriter, Armando Iannucci. It's got the prestige, and it's about politics. So it's got not just the prestige, but it's also got sort of this sense of importance about it. The kind of show that I think Academy members would like to vote for, that they would feel comfortable voting for. Its big problem is it doesn't have any writing or directing nomination. The last show to win Best Comedy Series without a writing or directing nomination was Friends, back in 2003, I think, around 2003. So it's really got an uphill battle without those key nominations to break through, but it did do well in breaking into the supporting acting categories this year. Showed Academy members were taking notice of the show. Gold Derby got a chance to speak with the creator of Veep, Armando Iannucci, about the show and the Emmys. Let's hear what he had to say.
And I guess one thing that hasn't gone horribly is with the Emmys this year, a big congratulations for your second Best Comedy Series nominee. The show's really being just accepted by the industry brilliantly. Julia won last year. What's it like to have gotten that second Best Series nomination?
Well, that was great. I was very confident Julia would get nominated because, she won it last year, and I think her performance this year has been even more varied and really pushed to the limits. What was really pleasing was that the cast got such recognition, that Anna Klumsky and Tony Hale also got nominations. The casting got nominations, as well as the show, because it really is a team show. We work very hard as an ensemble, not just the cast, but the writers as a unit. We're a big team, always throwing in ideas from every angle. So it was really nice that the show got recognized for that.
And it really has been like, this year, as you say, Tony and Anna both got in. It sort of picked up momentum and even doing stronger this year at the Emmys. I hear that this season, with you've had to structure an episode around the Emmys. How?
Oh, well, this is season 3. Only in that we're going to start really soon on season 3, and we have very tight schedules. So we realised we didn't have time to take days off to fly everyone out to LA for the Emmys and then fly them back and give them enough time in LA to do what everyone has to do in the build up to the Emmys. So we thought what we'll do is we'll actually shoot our episode out there. So LA is going to double up for Silicon Valley. Slightly similar weather, and I'm sure we'll find some locations that double up. So the Vice President is going to visit Silicon Valley. She's going to visit the likes of the Googles and the Facebooks and some of the companies around there. Well, we whip it up at the Emmys.
Oh, great! That's great creative thinking there.
And the final show in this race is The Big Bang Theory. And look, it's got a path to victory itself. It's had more critical acclaim this season and recognition than ever before. It's the top-rated comedy on TV. And for those two reasons alone, it has a case to make and could very well win this award. Its big problem is it's a show that is pitched at sort of the younger people. It's sort of a bit nerdy, a show, and it's not really like, as for example, Veep is about politics. It seems important. This is a show about nerds in a college dorm. Or an apartment. It seems less important. It doesn't seem like the kind of humour that the Academy will think is clever or smart or sophisticated, and that could get in its way of taking the prize. There you have it, outstanding comedy series at the Emmys. If you want to watch the extended candid interviews with those celebrities, if you want to watch extended candid discussions amongst us editors about who's going to win the categories, if you want to log your own predictions or join in the discussions in our forums, please check it out at goldderby.com. Thanks.